It is 5:11 p.m. Pacific, 2/5/2021. Andre Dionysian, president of BSA, is going to be chairing this session of Congress, and I hereby gavel this session into order. Where's my gavel? There we go. For the record, I would like to say my camera is not on because I am sick and not feeling very well. It is now in order for a roll call. I will call out each member's name, and they will indicate as such that they are present. Mr. Dionysian.
Present.
Ms. Elmoyan.
Present.
Mr. Timani.
Present.
Ms. Kroll.
Present.
Ms. Nazarian.
Present.
Representative Singh.
Present.
Ms. Sarian.
Present.
Ms. Angel.
Present.
C3 is pending special election. Ms. Kohanim.
Present.
Ms. Santiano. The chair notes that Ms. Santiano is not present at this time. Mr. Stein.
Present.
Mr. Stein is present. That is roll call. Barring Ms. Santiano, all other members are present at this time. The chair will note for the record if and when Ms. Santiano does enter the chamber. In front of us today, we have quite a number of items to get through, so we're going to have to limit debate a little bit, but we're going to try to get as much in as we can. All the resolutions are in a Google Drive folder that you guys have access to on the Discord underneath the ballot channel, but I'm going to read them out to you anyway. We will begin with HB 002, the WTP team coordinating bill. It's a bill to coordinate with the BSA communications division with the WTP team. This bill will be sponsored by the executive branch. Therefore, I request the vice president read out the bill.
Hold on a second.
The chair recognizes the vice president for the duration of this speech.
I thank the chair for recognizing me. HB 002, the WTP coordinating bill. A bill to coordinate the BSA communications division with the WTP team. Whereas the students of Burbank stand firmly in support of free...
Ignore that. That was a typo. Just get rid of it. There's no way
okay.
here. It's just a coordinating.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Okay,
the chair
I'll just read
now
the rest of it then.
re-recognizes the vice president.
And I re-thank the chair. Be it enacted by the Burbank Student Alliance Congress, Section 1, resolved the BSA Communications Division with the WTP team. Section 2, resolved the BSA will support SNAP's Burbank Virtual 2021 debate. Section 3, resolved SNAP may request BSA personnel to assist in the event on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The chair recognizes himself for a brief moment. For those who are unfamiliar, I think everybody here, except maybe Zoe might not know, of the work Tony and I do as a part of a group called the WTP team, and as its subsidiary SNAP. We put together a Burbank v. Burroughs debate to foster a little school spirit and encourage freedom of expression and so forth. And this time we wanted to utilize the resources of the BSA because it's in the best interest of both that we can encourage. When the BSA works with SNAP, BSA can push to have more local issues covered, such as the book ban, which benefits us because it brings awareness to such issues, and it benefits the SNAP team by having, additional resources to their own. Okay. At this time, the chair yields back to the chair, and I'm going to open it to discussion. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized to speak for or against this bill at this time?
I'd like to seek recognition.
The chair recognizes Mr. Dionysian for 1 minute.
So it's more of a question. What exactly would
Okay, Mr.
coordination
Dionysian, you were
include?
out of order. One quick point. If you have a question, you seek recognition for a question, which is a different process. So the chair recognizes Mr. Dionysian for a question.
I thank the chair. What would coordination with the WTP team entail exactly? What sort of thing would coordination constitute?
As mentioned in section 2 and 3, BSA will publicly support the event and will encourage members to attend it. And additionally, SNAP may borrow BSA personnel and therefore the resources of our communications division.
Okay. All right, thank you. I thank the chair. I yield my time.
Are there any other members who wish to be recognized? The chair recognizes Mr. Stein for 1 minute.
I motion to unanimous consent on this bill.
To bring it to a vote?
Yes.
With unanimous consent, Mr. Stein moves to vote. Are there any objections? The bill is brought to a vote. We can't actually vote on the bill itself with unanimous consent. I still need to do a roll call. So we're going to do a roll call vote. It is now in order for a roll call vote on HB 002. Mr. Dionysian.
Nay.
Ms. Elmoyan.
Aye.
Mr. Tamani.
Nay.
Ms. Kroll.
Aye.
Ms. Nazarian.
Aye.
Representative Singh.
Aye.
Ms. Sarian.
Aye.
Ms. Angel.
Nay.
Ms. Kohanim.
Aye.
Ms. Santiano is not present at this time. Mr. Stein.
Aye.
With 7 ayes and 3 against, the bill passes. It is now in order for to introduce HR 005, the Black Lives Matter resolution. This can be sponsored by the executive unless any other representative who has taken a look at it would like to sponsor it themselves. Alrighty. Mr. Vice President, if you could read out HR 005.
I thank the chair for recognition. HR 005 states the Black Lives Matter resolution. The abstract is a resolution in support of and in recognition of Black Lives Matter. Whereas the students of Burbank stand firmly opposed to racism in all its forms, whereas the students of Burbank strive to not simply be not racist, but to be anti-racist. A non-binding resolution of the Burbank Student Alliance is enacted. Section 1 resolved, the students of Burbank support Black Lives Matter in the advancement of civil rights. Section 2 resolved, the students of Burbank support the diversification of reading materials in our schools to better represent POC authors. Section 3 resolved, the students of Burbank support the celebration of Black history and support its greater inclusion in our schools.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. At this time, we're going to open up discussion on the floor. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized for speech, question, or amendment?
I seek recognition.
For what do you seek recognition?
To motion to suspend the rules for a free discussion on the bill.
That's not a recognition.
Oh.
That's a motion.
I thought I need to okay.
No. There is a motion on the floor to suspend the rules with unanimous consent. I move to do so. Is there an objection? The rules are now suspended. Mr. Dionysian.
So, thank you. I thank the chair. So I know I've talked with my caucus, and feel free to interrupt everybody. Just I want to discuss with the rest of the Congress. I've spoken with my caucus, and a lot of us personally may or may not. I personally do support the Black Lives Matter organization, but I think attaching the name of the organization to the concept itself, and speaking on behalf of 5,000 or so students who attend BHS and JVHS on their personal support of an organization, a specific organization. I think that's potentially dangerous, and we don't want to separate the alliance further at all, because it is very much a personal issue whether or not you support a specific organization. I think it's pretty much clear right now that everybody would support this resolution in the sense that racism, yes, racism is bad, and we need to fight racism in all its forms. But the wording and how Black Lives Matter is capitalized so as to refer to the organization instead of the concept is, I don't think the Congress can accurately represent that, as much as I personally may support the organization.
Ms. Kroll, the rules are suspended. You may just speak.
Thank the chair. While that makes a lot of sense, I think that if we believe in what the Black Lives Matter organization believes, I think then there isn't a harm in saying that we ally with that.
Yeah, that makes sense too. But there are a lot of people who have other grievances with the organization, and we don't want to attach something highly controversial like this, that's very personal as well, to a concept like, that we need to work towards furthering the civil rights agenda. So that's I understand what you're saying, but I respectfully disagree.
I also agree with Arno. I feel like attaching to the organization could be a bit dangerous. Maybe, people do feel like the idea of kind of like going against the Blue Lives Matter thing, maybe they'll get offended in a way, since we do have like a very involved police department. I don't know if that could possibly be a thing. I know that I have some friends that have their parents that are police officers, and they're taking it in the wrong light. I personally support Black Lives Matter, but I think it's a little dangerous, like how Arno was saying. It's a lot more to it than just being anti-racist. It's also saying things like that.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, we are, again, short on time, so I'm going to have to reinstate the rules. I'm going to allow anybody else who wants to seek recognition to speak if they wish to seek recognition, but then we're going to have to move on. If there's an amendment to be made, I suggest you guys make it now. Otherwise, we're going to put it to a vote. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized at this time?
I wish to be recognized.
For what purpose?
To propose an amendment.
The chair recognizes Mr. Dionysian to propose an amendment.
I would like to change the wording of Black Lives Matter from all capitalized to another term that does not refer to the organization.
You're going to have to be specific. It's an amendment.
There's no way we can work this out as a Congress? Because I don't...
We can suspend the rules again. The chair, with unanimous consent, suspends the rules.
You can if you just make it all lowercase, then it's not going to have any affiliation with the organization itself.
Well, that doesn't make grammatical sense.
I think you can put the anti-racist resolution. I think that would work.
No, because the entire idea is we're not being specifically anti-racist. We're being specifically anti-racist towards Black people right now. We're talking about Black people. So, in the sense, it is currently Black Lives Matter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
the point being to distinguish between all lives matter and,
Yeah, or like,
So
while other POC struggles are very important, we're currently talking about African Americans and other Black people. So keep that, but just if you really do wish to have it a non-organization thing, just lowercase it.
I feel like it would make sense to say the students of Burbank support the concept that Black Lives Matter, but that seems a little odd.
The concept that
that feels a little bit like
that does feel a little bit odd.
Yeah.
Let me write a 3-page dissertation explaining to you how I'm not racist.
Yeah, I don't particularly think it would be grammatically incorrect. If you just if you're just doing it in the sense of like separating it from organization to concept.
All right, I'm going to reinstate the rules, Mr. Dionysian. It's your amendment. If somebody else wishes to make a different amendment, that's fine. But Mr. Dionysian, how do you wish to proceed?
I will propose an amendment to decapitalize Black Lives Matter.
Okay, there's an amendment on the floor.
And wait, I didn't finish, I'm sorry.
Sure, the chair recognizes, yeah.
In both instances, and where it says Black history, that also doesn't make sense. That should be lowercase black and lowercase history. Thank you. That's I yield my time. I yield.
Okay, there's a resolution on the floor to change. Sorry, Nina, I can't recognize you until we're done with this cycle of. There's a resolution on the floor to change Black Lives Matter to lowercase, as to signify the idea and not the organization, and to also make lowercase Black History because of a supposed grammatical or sentence structure error. The chair would also like to mention for the record that Ms. Santiano has now entered the chamber and is marked present. Okay. Unfortunately, we can't get you caught up because of time, but you'll pick it up. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized in debating the amendment? The chair recognizes Representative El Moyan for 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair. Could we perhaps call it in support and in recognition of the empowerment of Black lives? Or is it too specific to say empowerment?
The chair must take back your time. You were recognized for a Arno, are you saying something?
I was gonna seek recognition to speak, but I'm not sure if that would violate anything or.
You can motion. You can
to just speak.
You can ask the speaker to yield to a question or to yield to you for a comment.
Will the speaker yield to me for a brief statement?
That's you, Nina.
Speaker?
Nina has.
I thank the speaker. Yeah. Okay. I agree with Nina. I think that makes far more sense than just decapitalizing Black Lives Matter. I dropped my amendment, and if anybody else agrees with that, I'll propose another amendment to.
Okay, so that. We kind of threw protocol out the window, but let's just assume that amendment is dead.
I'm not really sure what to do in this case, but...
The chair recognizes Representative Singh.
I think that it sounds like sugarcoating. I don't like just putting on all these things where it's not the empowerment of Black lives. We're talking about Black Lives Matter because they matter. We're not empowering them. Because at this point, there's nothing to empower. If they're going to be dying in the streets, we're trying to ensure that, first off, they have the basic safety to stay alive. And we want to show that support that, hey, you can exist with us. And we are sorry. And we want to help you because systematic racism is shit. Sorry for the language. But I think that it's very sugarcoating if you're saying, like, oh, like, we're trying to empower it. Or, like, oh, it's all about this. Just keep it as Black Lives Matter. I don't think it's that big of a deal, and that's the important part. Is the just blanket or like non-blanketed, just raw. Yes, we agree with this. It is not some like
the speaker's time has elapsed. Thank you, Representative Singh. The chair recognizes himself for a moment. I would like to just briefly agree with Kai. I know I'm not supposed to take much time talking about my own personal opinions here, but I believe the distinction that to clearly say that Black Lives Matter, whether it be the organization or more the idea, I think is more important. Lowercase, I think, was a good idea. I think that worked. I would encourage Mr. Dionysian to introduce that amendment. With that, are there any representatives who wish to be recognized at this time?
I wish to be recognized.
The chair recognizes Mr. Dionysian again.
I understand Kai's Representative Singh's frustration, but I do think it's just a simple reporting and it does not change what the term means itself. Also, it does not really make grammatical sense at all, and it kind of frustrates me to see support Black Lives Matter because we're using Black Lives Matter together collectively as a noun, which still refers to the organization. So if need be, I'll propose the amendment, but
Point of information. The concept itself is also a noun, therefore the speaker's point is invalid. The chair reestablishes your time. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I yield my time there.
At this time, are there any representatives who wish to be recognized? This includes an amendment. The chair recognizes Representative Santiana for a minute.
Question. Are we recognizing that it's Black History Month? I'm just trying to catch up here.
Yes, so the chair recognizes himself. We do mention Section 3, the celebration of Black history, as a nod to the fact that it is Black History Month, but the primary purpose of this is to recognize Black Lives Matter. At this point, are there any members who wish to be recognized? Otherwise, we will move to a vote. The chair recognizes Representative Kai for what purpose?
Just to make an amendment if the amendment on the table is not just lowercasing it.
Okay, let's... Mr. Dionysian, would you like to make an amendment?
I would, yeah.
The chair recognizes
yeah, I
Mr.
would.
Dionysian first, and then succeeding that will go to Kai.
I'd like to propose an amendment as original to decapitalize Black Lives Matter and Black History because it does not seem that there's enough support for the second term of wording.
All right, there's a resolution. There's an amendment on the floor to modify the resolution's capitalization. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized at this time? With unanimous consent, we move to a straight up or down vote. All in favor, I will call out your names and just say aye. Representative Dionysian.
Aye.
El Moyan.
Aye.
Timani.
Aye.
Kroll. Kroll.
Aye.
Nazarian.
I guess.
Singh.
Aye.
Saryan.
Abstain.
Abstain. Angel.
Aye.
C3 is pending. Kohanim.
Aye.
Santiano.
Abstain. Does that mean? I'm sorry. Does that mean no, or I just deny
Abstain
to
just
give an
means
answer?
you're not voting. You just decide not to vote.
Abstain.
Okay. Stein.
Aye.
Okay, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ayes and 2 abstentions, the modification shall be made and the amendment is adopted. Please give me a second to make the amendment. Okay. At this time, are there any resolutions or are there any resolutions that... What was Kai's face? I'm sorry, that threw me off. Were you laughing at... You were just kind of like... Okay. Whatever. Are there any resolutions... Are there any speakers who wish to recognize to make an amendment?
I'd like to be recognized not to make an amendment, just to say something.
Sure, but make it quick. You got 30 seconds.
Okay, you missed one of them under abstract.
Oh, that's a... Okay, where? Oh, thank you. That's a... Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Barring objection, with unanimous consent, we move to put HR 005 to a vote. A resolution in support of and in recognition of Black Lives Matter. I missed the L there, didn't I? Okay, I think we got them all. I'm going to call down a list of names and we'll vote aye or nay. Mr. Dionysian.
Aye.
Ms. Elmoyan.
Aye.
Mr. Timani.
Aye.
Ms. Kroll.
Aye.
Ms. Nazarian.
I.
Representative Singh.
Aye.
Ms. Saryan.
Abstain.
Ms. Angel.
Abstain, and I would like to abstain my previous vote.
You can't modify a prior vote, unfortunately. C3 is pending. Ms. Kohanim. Ms. Kohanim.
Oh, I said aye. Sorry, I don't think it went through.
Sorry. Ms. Santiano.
Abstain.
Mr. Stein.
Aye.
With 8 ayes and 3 abstentions, the resolution is adopted. We now move to HR 006. Hopefully this one goes a little bit faster. It's the free speech expression resolution. The free expression resolution. This was based off of comments Ms. Santiana made previously that pointed out the fact that many students who have hold minority opinions are discriminated against and bullied and so on and so forth. And this is a resolution in support of the protection of free speech and the individuals who hold minority opinions. Would any representative wish to sponsor the resolution, or will the executive sponsor this one as well?
I will sponsor the resolution.
Mr. Dionysian, you are recognized to speak on the resolution.
Oh, I have not actually seen it yet. Is it possible for it to be read
Right.
aloud, or where is it?
In order to sponsor it, you have to first have read it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
The chair recognizes Ms. Santiano for a question, comment, or...
Same as Representative Dionysian. I have not read it either. Where can I find that?
It is in the ballot channel. Let's pause for a second and let everybody take a look at it. Representative Kroll, yes? Oh, sorry. With unanimous consent, I suspend the rules temporarily while people take a chance to read this. This has been I put this up a bit ago, but I know everyone's been busy, haven't had a chance to read it. Yeah, Kroll.
I read it. I can sponsor it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go and do that.
I read it early.
Let's give everybody else a chance to read as well, because you can have co-sponsors if people really want to. We'll pick this up
could you
in
go
2
over
minutes.
the policies for sponsoring a bill, just so I'm clear on what the process for the future?
So basically, the main sponsor is going to read out the bill, and then is going to give a brief speech of why you think it should pass. That's
Understood.
basically
Thank you.
it. Yeah. All right, 1 more minute and we'll reconvene.
This is 006, correct?
Correct. Oh, next week we're probably going to get to 007. So we get to make tons of jokes about that.
Oh yeah, Andre. Is the rule still suspended?
The rules are suspended, yeah.
All right, yeah. I'll get my resolution in probably by Wednesday.
Yeah, I just needed 24 hours beforehand, and I'll put it on the docket. Just
Coolio.
Yeah, just copy paste the format you see here. Yeah.
Let the record show that for Resolution 007, we have to go out of our way to make sure there's a reference hidden in the bill text.
Okay. All right, I'm going to reinstate the rules. At this time, are there any members who wish to co-sponsor the bill?
I wish to co-sponsor the bill.
Okay, and Representative Santiano, you as well? All right, you two are co-sponsoring the bill. Representative Kroll, as the main sponsor, you may give a speech followed by Mr. Dionysian and Ms. Santiano.
Understood. Do I read the bill out?
Yes, as the main sponsor, you have to read the bill aloud. The chair recognizes Representative Kroll for the duration of her speech.
HR 006, the Free Expression Resolution. Abstract. A resolution in support of the protection of free speech. Whereas, the students of Burbank stand firmly in support of freedom of speech and expression. A non-binding resolution of the Burbank Student Alliance is enacted. Section 1. Resolved. The students of Burbank support all people's entitlement to their own opinions. Section 2. Resolved. The students of Burbank oppose any rhetoric by any persons declaring one's political ideology pure and free of imperfection. We oppose any attempts to paint a principled opposition to a majority as a vengeful minority. Section 3. Resolved. The BSA will work to protect the voice of those who hold minority opinions while preserving the rights of the majority. This non-binding resolution of Congress is presented to the session's chairperson for confirmation of passage. This bill is important to pass because BSA is an organization founded on free speech. BSA is an organization made up of individuals who, when they have opinions, speak up about it and do so respectfully and respect of themselves and of others involved. As a result, we cannot say we are the BSA and not pass a resolution of this sort. Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Representative Kroll. The chair recognizes Mr. Dionysian for 1 minute.
I thank the chair. I chose to co-sponsor this bill because I have seen friends of mine and also acquaintances live this problem. I'll admit prominently conservatives have been silenced. Have been talked down to simply for speaking out their political beliefs respectfully. I think it's disgusting to see this ever happen to anybody, regardless of their political ideology. And as a cornerstone of democracy, we need to protect it. With this resolution, I think we can do just that. I thank the chair. I yield my time.
Thank you, Mr. Dionysian. The chair recognizes Ms. Santayana for a minute.
I 100% agree with Representative Kroll and Dionysian with both of their points. As somebody who has felt silenced and shut down before, or just feel like an afterthought, really, I remember when I told people I was a conservative, I felt powerful, not like powerful as in I wanted to control anybody, but I felt powerful and grateful to be an American to the point where I can even say my views to the public, and being given that God-given right. And I believe we can make we need to make other students feel comfortable as well. And not, of course, us in BSA, but we want to spread that out throughout the community. And I think it's really important for students to feel supported by somebody who supports them, and we can uplift their voice as well. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Ms. Santayana. At this time, are there any speakers who wish to be recognized?
I wish to be recognized.
Mr. Dionysian, you are once again recognized for 1 minute.
I thank the chair. If there's anybody who's not yet sold on this bill, I doubt there are any, but in on the off chance, I'd like to yield some time to Representative Adam Tamani, who does share conservative beliefs and I'm sure has seen his fair share of political silence and would like to speak on behalf, to give some insight on what this issue may look like. I yield my time to Adam Tamani.
Mr. Tamani, you have been given 30 seconds by Mr. Dionysian. I will add an additional 1 minute at the point of expiration.
Okay, I'll start now. So, yes, I'm a Republican. I'd like to specify exactly what kind of Republican I am. I'd say I'm not too Republican, but I am Republican. I don't support Trump, but I'm Republican. And it is true that a lot of the time when people hear I'm Republican, instantly they just don't want anything to do with me. They don't even stop to know anything about me or hear anything specific about me. So I'm sorry, I got a call and I think it cut out my mic. But I'm gonna have to agree with Arno on this about people are silenced, not just Republicans, but even if a Democrat were to go into a place with lots of Republicans, I think a Democrat would be silenced in that place. And I just think silencing someone for their political beliefs is just wrong. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I yield my time.
Thank you, Mr. Tamani. Mr. Dionysian, he has yielded back his time, which is now an additional 45 seconds.
I will yield any time I have left to questions.
The speaker has yielded his time to questions. Are there any questions? As there are no questions for the speaker, how does the speaker yield his time?
I will yield my time to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, with unanimous consent, barring objection, we move to put H.R. 006 to a vote.
Objection.
Mr. Stein objects. To what point do you object?
I object because I would like to propose an amendment to this resolution.
Mr. Stein is recognized for an amendment to this resolution.
Thank you. I would like to add the following amendment. Resolved. BSA will not support opinions or ideologies that would condone or cause harm to others. Purely because the wording of this resolution currently makes us support all ideologies, and I think that is, obviously, we don't want to support harmful ideologies. We want to support free speech, and we want to support reasoned debate and stop oppression of voices, but at the same time, we don't want to go too far overboard. So I'm just adding this amendment in order to make sure that we do this as thoroughly and as correctly as we can.
All right, Mr. Stein, could you type that up real quick and send it to me?
Yes, in fact, I already have, and I will send it to you right.
All
No.
right, fantastic.
And-
There's an amendment on the floor. Are there any speakers who wish to be recognized?
Yeah, in the
regarding
meanwhile, I wish to be recognized.
Mr. Dionysian, you are recognized for 1 minute.
It sounds like a good idea, but I'd like to point out that the resolution does not actually support any ideology at all. It just supports the free discourse of them. So I'm a little confused when Mr. Stein says it supports ideologies that condone violence or such.
Point of information. This was an oversight on my part. He is right in the sense that, technically speaking, you can misinterpret it to, like, support any fringe ideology up to, like, extremism. That was an oversight when we were writing it, so Mr. Stein is correct in his assessment of it. Yeah, we reestablish your time.
Wait, sorry, what? What? Can you say that again? I'm a little confused. The resolution says anywhere that it supports ideologies or that it supports the free discourse of them.
Right, yeah, I suspend the rules briefly. Yeah, Arno, it says we support the free discourse of it. Well, no, it doesn't actually say that. It says we oppose rhetoric declaring one's political ideology pure and free of imperfection. We will protect the voice of minority opinions. Okay, that's where it can get misconstrued to say, hey, you know what's a really minority opinion? We should start up the Crusades again. That's a pretty minority opinion.
Okay.
You get how that can be, yeah.
It is very much up to interpretation. I yield my time to the chair.
All right. The chair reinstates the rules. Are there any speakers who wish to be recognized? Alrighty. At this time, it is in order. With unanimous consent, we move to vote on the amendment. I'm just because it is an amendment, we can adopt it with unanimous consent. With unanimous consent, may we adopt it? Are there any objections? Barring objections, the amendment is adopted. Give me a second, Jeffrey. And it is a colon. It's a semicolon. Yeah.
I'll get it right eventually.
Eventually. Hold on. Sorry, give me a second, folks. I gotta format this properly. And the semicolon is after resolved, not after the section. But close. Getting close, Jeffrey. All right. With that, the chair, with unanimous consent, moves to vote on 006. I will call out the names. Please indicate in the affirmative or the negative. Dionysian.
Aye.
Elmoyan.
Aye.
Tamani.
Aye.
Kroll.
Aye.
Nazarian.
Aye.
Singh.
Aye.
Saryan.
Aye.
Angel.
Aye.
C3 is pending. Kohanim.
Aye.
Santiano.
Aye.
Stein.
Aye.
With 11 for and none against, it is unanimous, ladies and gentlemen. The resolution is adopted. All right, we got 10 minutes to go and one more thing to get done. So actually, we're making pretty good time here. Everybody give yourself a pat on the back or something. I honestly thought we were going to go over like 10 minutes, but... All right, at this time, it is in order for a discussion and the introduction of the Policy Division Executive Charter. This will be sponsored by the Executive Branch. I will briefly recognize myself to talk about it. There's not much you will find on the Executive Division Charter itself. It's a very bare bones, we just kind of have to make the charter. But what the Policy Division is basically going to be is like we're focusing on specific answers, solutions to problems. For example, when the book ban came up, there was a group inside the executive staff that would come up with the solution of the book club and the structuring of that and work on that project. We wanted to create a standing body that can, be a team working towards problem solution, and that's what the policy division is for, basically. They're also going to help us in writing up resolutions. They'll help you guys in formatting your resolutions or answering any questions on how to format bills or resolutions if you guys want to introduce any in the future. At this time, are there any representatives who wish to be recognized to speak on the Policy Division Executive Charter? With no one seeking recognition, with unanimous consent.
I will seek recognition. I wish to seek recognition.
At this point, you must make an objection to the unanimous consent.
You didn't say it.
I did say with unanimous consent, so you have to now make an objection to the unanimous consent.
I will object to the unanimous consent.
To what point do you object, Mr. Dionysian?
I would like to speak about the charter.
Mr. Dionysian is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. This charter, assuming, is the one in the folder that says Policy Division, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And under mission statement, it describes the read. And so I don't exactly know anything about this policy yet. I mean, the division yet.
Yeah.
I've heard about it just now, and the only information we have was missing. So I'm not exactly sure what to make of it.
The policy division is exactly as I told you. It's the only reason we create a charter is as a formality.
Okay. Well, the wording doesn't matter. So when you got that up and running, please let me know.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anyone else?
Oh, sorry. I yield my time.
Thank you. The chair moves again with unanimous consent to move to a vote on the charter. Give me a second. Okay, Mr. Dionysian.
The mission statement still isn't there. I don't know what to vote on.
You're voting on the division. The charter itself is a technicality.
But we're voting on the charter to create the division.
The mission statement is actually a formality. The only actual thing that's like, I could make a mission statement that says we like hot dogs, but that wouldn't matter because the only thing
because that's what the charter is now intended to do.
No, the mission statement section is just for public view at a later date. The actually only legally binding section here is the leadership and the regulations section.
So now I know who's leading something, but
and the regulations under which it'll operate, which is Operations Code Title 3.
Right, but I'm approving the charter is what my vote is for. I don't want to vote no, but this is important.
The chair suspends the rules briefly. You want me to write a mission statement? Fine, I'll write you a mission statement.
I mean, we're voting on the charter. I don't know what you want me to say.
You know what it's for. You're just being a stickler.
We're voting on the charter.
You're just bugging me for protocol, and you know it.
Mr. Chairman, I've seen what you can do with loopholes. I'm not going to.
Ha 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 ha! Funny.
I second Arno on this one.
Yeah.
What, Jeffrey? Whose side are you on here?
Andre, this is serious.
As you would say, Andre, et-tu, Brute?
You can't leave out.
Victoria, you're having too much fun here.
Unique, then wonder why I'm confused.
You guys are lucky I suspended the rules, or you all be out of order. Mission statement.
Objective sounds better.
Don't, Tarno.
Okay.
Is that to your satisfaction, Representative Dionysian?
It's not to, well, it's theirs now, isn't it? So yes, it's to my satisfaction.
Ha 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 ha! Dear God, the chair reinstates the rules and will read the mission statement. It is the goal of the policy division to assist members in crafting legislation and the executive division in preparing solutions to problems as they arise. With unanimous consent and for once and for all, we move to vote on the policy division charter. Mr. Dionysian.
Aye.
Ms. Almoyan.
Aye.
Mr. Tamani.
Aye.
Ms. Kroll.
Aye.
Ms. Nazarian.
Aye.
Representative Singh.
Aye.
Miss Sarian,
Aye.
Miss Angel.
Aye.
C3 is pending. Miss Kohanim,
Aye.
Miss Santiano,
Aye.
and Mr. Stein.
Aye.
With 11 for and none against, the charter is approved. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all on our official docket at this point. There is no briefing to be given. There will be an in-depth briefing next week, but due to time constraints, we could not have it this week. That said, at this time, are there any members who wish to seek recognition? Mr. Stein, you are recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I would simply like to recognize Holden Wise for his amazing attendance to these meetings, as well as his propensity to write down quotes from these meetings within the comment channel. I see you, and you have no idea how much I respect that.
Mr.
I yield my time back
thank you.
here.
The chair would also like to point out that technically speaking, according to our constitution, you are all supposed to refer to me as Mr. President and Tony as Mr. Vice President in a formal setting, and I would like to thank Jeffrey for being the only one who actually did that.
I called you Mr. Chairman.
I'm kidding, of course. You don't actually have to, but you know that is in the rules technically, but we ignore the rules so often. Anyway, at this point, are there any speakers who wish to be recognized? All right. With unanimous consent, we move to. Oh, sorry, I can't do that. Is there a resolution to adjourn this meeting?
I will motion to adjourn the meeting.
There's a motion to adjourn this meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. All in favor, say aye. Just yell it.
Aye.
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 All
Aye.
opposed? All abstaining? The motion is adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our meeting. The meeting is adjourned.
And a minute to spare.
Congratulations.